hey, if you miss us live, you can listen to us wherever you get your podcast.
It's some Jeff. Yeah. It's fun taking a minute to talk about Larry's show. My career changed, you must say. Larry and I have been working together for like the last 12 years now. And anything I've ever needed as far as career training, Larry's been right there. Larry's got me salespeople, he's got me managers, he's got me technicians, even through the toughest times in the industry. And he is just the kind of guy that's going to tell you exactly what's on his mind. He's going to tell you exactly what he thinks. But Larry also has the expertise to back it. I'm playing in the dealership world. He's a top performer. And that's really important to my staff, especially as it pertains to training. A lot of people can come in and teach out of a textbook, but Larry has real world experience dealing with customers, dealing with situations in dealerships that he goes through on a daily basis and try to train on. Larry's been through it, so he can really empathize with the people and tell you what's worked for him and maybe what way not to go. Larry, it's just always at a 10. I mean, his energy level is always out there. And I think people, they just love that and they feed off of it. He's not faking it. He is genuinely excited to come and help you. He's excited to come and help grow your business. And he's one of those people who just really enjoys seeing dealers succeed and have a lot of fun at the same time.
Life is about direction. Having a support system to lean on. And roads to endless possibility. At every turn, guiding the way. We are building the connections that move you.
So what would your dealership feel like if your entire sales staff was literally on fire, your sales and service staff? They were nonstop all over social media, completely dominating your marketplace. They could join in 30 days or less, and they continue their education to do it for an entire 6 months or a year. We literally would completely take over the entire market frames, and no one would be able to compete with you. And that's what we can do for you. So when you're walking around your community, whether you're locally service or you're going to the gym, you don't want to be bothered? I will be bothered. But a lot of people will walk up to you and say, oh my God, I love your social media. Your staff is amazing. We love what you're doing in the community. We want to come buy a car from you. We want to get an oil change at your dealership. Your community absolutely going to love you. And it doesn't matter what platform you're on. You could be on TikTok, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, all social media platforms. You may literally be all over the place. And not only will you have ads on it, but your own staff is going to be promoting your brand and promoting themselves within the dealership and within the business. So it's like running an ad is kind of 100-fold because your entire staff is participating in the process. I traveled all over North America. I've trained Toyota. I've trained Nissan. I've been to driving field. I've been to Living in Auto. I get hired as a speaker for conferences at universities all over the country. I can help change the trajectory of your dealership right now.
Good morning and welcome. So let's go to, go ahead, Jeff. A couple of books, Nothing to Envy, Ordinary Lives in North Korea, Confessions of an Economic Hitman, and Tyranny, Lessons from the 20th Century. So go ahead with our disclaimer, Jeff.
Well, thank you, everybody. Good morning. We don't have Larry on, so we don't need the, oh, wait a minute, we do. Actually, this has nothing to do with Larry, but the views and opinions expressed on the AutoHub show are those of our guest speakers and guests and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the AutoHub show or anybody affiliated. And for the full detailed, read it because you don't want to listen to me go on and on because you're going to have enough of that.
Fantastic. Well, the show today is obviously our panel show, advisory panel. And I just thought it'd be fun to have a little Simpsons gif here, so that's what I put in here. Anyway, let's get into it. Go ahead, Jeff.
You realize that Simpsons have been around, I think, since about 1984 and or a little bit earlier, and there's always a Simpsons gift for anything you feed. They've covered everything. But our show today and our advisory panel, which is well attended today, thank you very much, is, and we're going to just throw it to you, is it 2024 or is it 1984? And this is just open-ended. And as the saying goes, we're going to go by first appearance here, which I'm not, what the heck, just put your hand up or start talking, discuss.
Well, Doug, I think you were first in the room.
Well, no, I was not.
No!
Dude, I'll be fun. How did there see this topic?
So, fair enough. Since I might as well talk for here, I'll take it. They had I started just before 1984 in this business. So can I relate to every single decade that we've had? Yes. Are we doing things like we did in 1984? Absolutely. We're actually in it. I'm going to say it honestly and truthfully. Like I said in a post I put out on LinkedIn last night, I'm going to commit career suicide and say, you know what? Dealers are having the biggest challenges of their life because they're going back to 1984. They're running their businesses just like they would back then as a car lot. They're not running businesses. They're not using technology. They are technology at first right now. They don't understand what DR is. They don't understand what any of the practices that should be implemented right now maximize the capabilities from the profitability of the last 3 years. They're just not getting it. And they need help. They need a lot of help. And they're just not reaching out to the right people. So yes, are we operating like 1984? Absolutely. Go out and talk to the person online. Call them back in 3 days. Do whatever you want. Just sell the cars. And that's what they're doing. So that's my take on it right now.
All right, I'm going to challenge you on that one. To a degree. Just because if we don't have challenging, what the heck does this panel, right? I'll agree that for the most part, the fundamentals are still locked in 1984. I do also think that there is a lean in towards technology to be utilized more. I think dealers are struggling to learn what makes sense and what doesn't make sense. And I think even more troubling for dealers is their hands are tied by the OEMs because they're looking to utilize platform X, Y, or Z. And the OEMs are saying, no, you can only use platform A or B. And that doesn't work for their business case, especially if they have multiple rooftops and multiple OEMs. So I think that there's some hurdles that they're having to overcome in search of utilizing technology. So I don't think it's 1984. I don't think it's 2024. It might be 2020. I don't know. It's somewhere in between. They want to get to the future, but I think there's some challenges.
It's just a slow roll. It's a slow roll. That's what it is. It's quick yet slow. But go ahead.
Let me roll into that for a second. I agree with you 100%. But again, it's the dealer mentality and mindset because they're using the excuse of co-op, and they're saying, if I use this technology, I have to use the technology that's approved by the OEM. Otherwise, I don't get my co-op money. And in most case scenarios, that co-op money is less than the money that they're losing. And I can guarantee when we switch to our good friend Tim, and he starts talking about what we're losing from our first party data because we're operating under the guise of what the manufacturer tells us. and not what the vendors are there to assist and help with, we could improve their bottom line exponentially.
If I can interject here very quickly, you hit the nail on the head on something here, Peter, which is co-op. And I'm sure all of you noticed Peter's little quasi-viral poll the other day about people, process and stuff, and he just tried to knock me down on it. No, just kidding. But we're so caught up in this whole idea that what the manufacturer makes us do or tries to make us do, that just to get extra money. And I can never help remembering working for a dealer where he had a remote BDC, sorry, Wendy and John, in a remote BDC, and he was using them, and they weren't doing very well at it. They really weren't. And I said to him, I said, look, you're giving out about $7,500 a month. Dump it. Let me add a sales manager. We'll add a phone. You've already got 5 phones sitting around doing nothing, and they are on call. And this was only 5 years ago, so don't think this was way back. And I says, it ain't working for us the way you've got this set up right now. And they are on call each night, and we'll do it. And he goes, no, why not? And he starts going, well, it's because of the KPIs and the ROIs. And I says, come on. In the end, it was because they were co-opable and he couldn't co-op a sales manager. So the fact is that what the problem that we're facing is, and why I brought this up, is we are really this. We have this tunnel vision because I believe the co-op model is very much hinged in 1984.
But I think
and it's just because they got a new thing, they went to a thing, then somebody sold something. NADA at the big Ford booth, that somebody from XYZ.com got the worthy card to go in, walked around, did their little game. They threw in a Ford Bronco Academy thing, and next thing you know, they're on the approved vendor list. And I could see Tim's just like,
well, but I think the way to look at it, Jeff, and not to disagree with you, but I think the way to look at it is you have, I think, 3 types of dealers. You have the trailblazing dealers who do it because it's the right thing to do. You have the dealers that follow those dealers. Then you have the ones that eventually adopt it. And I think what you've got to do as a dealer, we actually had an interesting interview with the gentleman who vets companies. At any day, you can check out our YouTube channel if you're curious. Basically, it's a question of what do you need for your business? What do you need it to do? But more importantly, whether or not the OEM pays for it, is it the right solution for your business? So you're either leading that pack and you're actually changing things, or you're waiting for something to happen to you, probably not something good. So you can blame the OEM, you can blame the co-op, you can blame certain dealers, but at the end of the day, it's really about what's the best solution for your business. And, really doing your homework or having someone do it for you. So that way you're essentially making the best possible decision. But maybe someone else has a thought there. That's just my 10 cents.
I think you're dancing all around. I think we're all saying the same thing. And Jeff, you are dancing all around. But honestly, when Peter was talking about first party data earlier, and what I've heard everybody talk about here, when you talk about co-op dollars, you talk about trying to emulate others. And the one thing I haven't heard anybody really talk about is just the absolute reliance on third party data, third party influence. And, I don't want to make this a rant about stoicism, but honest to goodness, when you think about the dealers that are out there that are, revenue per square foot, kicking everybody else's ass right now, and they've continued to do it in good times and in bad times, they continue to be a leader. They continue to put points on the board and drive sales. What are they doing? They're controlling what they can control. They are working with their team. They're investing in training. They're investing in organizational development. And to the point that Doug made, they're investing in smart technology that not only improves the throughput of lead generation, which that's the only thing they really look at, is how do I get more people on the lot? They also improve in that which creates efficiencies in the operation, which improves the empathy and the intelligence of everybody in the organization, whether that's KPIs that you're measuring it against, or it's sales and maybe getting a person to buy a second or third or fourth vehicle from you and starting to put that in as a measurement of success. So at the end of the day, the jam that we're in, first and foremost, it's not unique to the auto industry. This is happening across business today because of the rate of change in technology. A lot of folks are still doing things in a legacy fashion. They're doing things the way that they learned to do it and the way that they know to do it, when in fact it's not always the best way or the most productive way. And I think that the car industry, is up against a bunch of things right now, right? And instead of seeing it as something that happens to you, try to wrap your head around how to sell that inventory that is electric right now. Try to ideate on that instead of looking at what everybody commiserates on, that people are buying EVs, right? It doesn't matter what's happening to everybody else. Think about what you have right there that you can do differently. And it's not just EVs, it is any inventory. And of course, it's back to, because I know Peter wants me to give a big nod to it, but waking up all the dark data in your organization, waking it up and finding people that you can reach out to again, whether that's with a third-party BDC or it's with the people that are on the floor.
Wendy, and Tim, I'm sorry, go ahead, Wendy.
No, that's okay. Go ahead, Larry.
Well, say you mentioned stoicism, and if what left of my brain word, stoicism originated with one of the great thinkers of all time, Socrates, who willingly drank poison in his own trial rather than defend himself. So what I opine is it's not 1984, it's 1884 and it's 1784, because as long as people don't embrace using their heads and having a work ethic, you're dead. And the reason, if I sound a little dry, is like this flew to Sarasota, very pleasant ride, and I watched this idiot lady get into such a ruckus at the rental counter. What all she had to do was say please and thank you and suggest a different thing. As long as we're resisting to get up in the morning with a good attitude and applying everything. I knew guys that quit as soon as they put computers in at dealerships, and guys that quit when leasing came in because it was too complicated. They couldn't put a pencil to it. So I don't think we've changed or evolved that much as human beings. I think the people that want to embrace whatever the technology is, whether it was with Edison or Tesla or now, and have a great attitude, will thrive. And the rest of the dummies won't. I don't think that's ever been.
I'd like to piggyback on what both Jeff said about the outsourced BDC and then and about co-op money. And I'm going to call on John, and I have already spoken about this. And Russell, I'm going to ask you about this, so don't go away. So and I'll be a whistleblower. Another thing that's happening is our dealers are looking for, if they're not converting their leads, and I'll leave the data and everything. Data is not my jam. I'm in the trenches showing people how to convert phone calls and texts and everything to showroom visits. And then I let sales do what they do. Admittedly, that's my area, and I leave the data and brilliance to all the rest of you who do it so capably. And yes, thanks, Peter. But here's the thing. They're looking for a red pill or a blue pill when they're not converting their leads. They don't want to they don't want to sign up for any kind of software. So to that end, when they're looking for a BDC, they're looking for those who are certified that can get them their co-op money. Or they had other vendors come to me and say, hey, Wendy, you should reach out to this company. But just so you know, it's gonna be co-op, so you're gonna have to wait 60 days for your money, whatever. So it's all these things that don't matter. What matters is helping our dealerships and helping our customer experience and putting people in our showrooms and our service lanes. So that said, what's happening with the outsourced BDCs, and I'm sorry, this is the first time, but I'm gonna dig deep in this and watch as soon as I get the guts to wrap my head around it. Russell's already laughing. So we're expanding. We're getting all these dealers because we're certified. We're getting their co-op money. They don't care. They'll try them out because it's co-op money and it's not coming out of their pay or whatever. Well, And because they're making the OEM people happy because they're using their recommended vendors. But are they delivering the goods? Are they creating more traffic in the showroom and at the service lane?
So Wendy, are you saying they're not? I know I had to cut in here. Are you saying they're not using that famous line? We're from the manufacturer. We're here to help.
What they're doing is they don't care that they lose 2 dealers because they just picked up 3 more the day before.
Yeah.
And they're building their footprint wherever they are. They're opening up more and more brick and mortar call centers, and they're not, I mean, what happened to, OEM, like, why don't you certify some trainers or whatever? Why don't we show the people in-house how to convert those leads? Why do we keep trying the magic pills and everything else that aren't working? So, and I heard on All Things Purpose this morning, just a snippet of it, that one of the dealers said his hands are tied because of what the OEM is telling them to do. My recollection of the OEMs, again, was early in my BDC career, launching the on-site and working off-site stuff, is that the majority of the performance managers, even that I work with in CRMs or former DPs, GMs, whatever, and the same with the OEM representatives, they don't know BDC. They never worked in the trenches. They know how to read the data and tell you how your KPIs are off and who you should go to have them fixed, but were those people investigated and do they actually improve the KPIs for the dealer and then ultimately the customer experience? And are we selling more cars? I told no. And Russell, what about you? Do you find dealers that what do you feel about the OEM backing, certification, et cetera, et cetera?
Well, the combination, I'm going through some of that right now. And, it was just mentioned, it got from the manufacturer, I'm here to help. Okay, well, I thought to look at that as it's just a gainer plan. Now, even though some of the programs are co-opted 50 or even say 100% that I've run into it with my company, it's almost like they'd rather pay for mine and give up the co-op because it's shit that doesn't work anyway. It costs them more than it would just forego that and sign up with somebody and go to what the hell they're doing. It's like me saying I'm from the government and I'm here to help. I mean, that's a red flag. You run away as fast as you can.
Exactly.
There's pros and cons to both, but when you talk about 2024, I wanted to allude to that 1984. I started selling 1985. Actually, I ran in the other day a training manual from Ford from the 1950s. It's the exact same road to sales it is today. Nothing's changed. Same 8-step, 12-step, whatever it is still all the same, right? And it's all about people and winning those people over. It's just amazing. But technology is also equally amazing. And I don't know who it was that mentioned here earlier. I'll say that things have radically changed in our thought process post-pandemic versus pre-pandemic because of this kind of stuff right here. Because everybody's so connected in a way, whether it be Clubhouse or Zoom or other types of things, that information is being shared faster and faster and faster. All of which technology is wonderful without people like us promoting it. But there's also, I'm going to say it, it sounds kind of cliche, but there's a human side to it, right? The human side of all this AI stuff that we're talking about. And it's like, I can't even keep up with it. But you know what? And a lot of this information I'm shared with a lot of you all in other rooms. And it's almost like as little as I do know compared to somebody else, which I don't really like to do that, but occasionally I catch myself in that. I still know more than 95% of the population just with the little information I have because I'm plugged in, I'm involved. And here's what I ultimately found out. Technology to accelerate momentum, they already have it wonderful. Technology to create something out in there that they don't have in place, and disaster waiting to happen. And then to always remember there's a human side. So it just you can buy it, turn it on, and there's nothing in place, and nobody has to manage it. You're tripping in the 70s. That's all I have.
Hey, Russell, it's Larry again. Have you ever read, and I know you have a statement from a dealership at the end of the month? There's every column known to man. You know what column isn't on there? How much business didn't we convert? How many customers did we miss? And that's what blows my mind, that we still have dealers that don't understand
They're getting a fraction of a fraction. It's the same problem with not understanding how important retention and service is and doing everything it takes there.
Yeah, this is why I connect with people like because I think it's the top 5%. But I mean, 95% of the population is getting their information from the same 95% of the population that has what they have or less than what they have. Wonder why the hell they don't have it. That's why I show up and continue to learn and adapt and change and get outside of my comfort zone, because the big stuff, I mean, it's so close. It's just like right around the corner, whatever that right around the corner is for all of us, a year or two, whatever it is. But it's evolving and morphing so fast, it's mind-boggling.
That's right.
So I gotta jump on this for 1 second here. Last night I put it at a poll, and the poll was the simplest of all polls, and it's be lighting up like wildfire. People, process, technology, or other. What is the most important thing to dealer success right now? People. People is leading it by a long shot. But I gotta go back to what my good buddy Brian Mote said. Mindset. Now that is an attribute of personality or people. But you have to set with the foundational mindset of what you need to do. In 1984, compared to today, in 1984, fax machines and were not as were there. Cell phones were just coming in. All kinds of things that we didn't have in technology as we do today. But as it transformed over the last 40 years, the technology has developed the mindset of the individual now. We're looking for instantaneous gratification because we can get that from our iPhones. We want that information. We need it. We thrive on it. And that is taking us from a relational sale to a transactional sale. That transactional sale is what is causing the greatest challenge in our business. We're not retaining our customers. We're losing 70% of them as soon as they drive off the lot. 70%. We're losing another 70% of the retained customers after the warranty. Why? Because we're not using technology, and that's the fault of the people. It's the fault of the process. It's the fault of the mindset. And that's the inherent challenge of our business. Like, if you turn around and most people we have, or I should say, most dealers will go to the 20 group meetings. They'll go to the 20 group meeting all day long. They get invited to the 20 group meeting. They're on the plane. They're off to it. Why? Because they feel that they're going to learn things from the 20 group, the best practices from the 20 group. When was the last time they took 20 random customers and brought them into the dealership for a day and asked them how they felt? But servicing body parts in the dealership, how the experience was, how the overall culture of the dealership was in their perception. It's them who pays the bills. It's not the manufacturer. It's the vendors. It's not people in the dealership. It's the customers that pay the bills. They don't care. They're not asking the customers. They're not bringing them in. But look, I can just give me 1 second here. If you look at the people on this call, and I can go through each and every one of them and show absolute benefit to the dealership in the form of the customer, not as the dealer, and bring that retention back to the dealership, where that bottom line, as Larry says, where is the missed opportunity line on the statement? Where is the line that says turnover cost on the statement? It's not there. It's an invisible line.
Peter, that's right. Peter, if I can say
This goes down, same thing. Everybody says people. And you saw my comments on this. Everybody says people. I'm a people guy. I believe in people. Yet, when was the last time dealers turned over their technology in 3 months because it didn't work?
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. There's more offboarding than there is onboarding in the dealership. And the worst part is they don't even take it off the statement because they keep paying it because now it's called the vendor to cancel. But where I look at it is you got a guy in the top right on my screen, Doug Reeves. Doug and I have been screaming this from rooftops about not about the customer experience, but the dealership experience. And that is so monumental. Tim and I have been screaming it from rooftops about first party data and actually actuating that possibility of bringing that into play. John Latka and I have talked about the process of the sale and how to involve people in that process. Larry and I have talked about how we're getting the people and where we're getting them from. They're out there. Russell and I talk about the marketing aspects of bringing people back into the service. And Wendy and I have talked about the human side of AI many times, about bringing the people in through communication and constantly being in touch with them. That is my rant. I'm dropping my mic, and you guys can have the rest of it. That's
Let me just add to that. To me, of what I hear you saying, and again, everybody's been nodding their heads on this. We're all on the same phylum as we're talking about this. But in my lifetime, I bought 5 different cars to include my family. My parents. I've been a part of probably 20 dealer buying experiences. The only one, and Peter, you know this, and I think everybody on this call knows this, but I grew up in the Dallas-Fort Worth area and always had a Lexus or a Cadillac in the garage. And it was for one reason. It was because the Sewell guy took my dad to lunch. The Sewell guy brought cars by the house, called him once a quarter to ask what I was doing, playing baseball or anything else. Nobody does that. Nobody does that anymore. And that's my point, right? Is why do they keep relying on third parties? Why do they keep wanting to go buy leads? Why do they want to, with all due respect, outsource BDCs? Why are they outsourcing the appointment setting? Why are they doing all this when they have the data right there, the customer information right there to be able to call somebody and say, hey, how are things going? Right? And be a salesperson. Be a salesperson. And a salesperson does what? Nurtures the relationship. I'm not going to sell something to you every time I talk to you, but you know what? It's been 9 weeks since we talked. I want to call you up and see how things are going. And guess what? My computer told me that your lease is about to expire. Hey, how about we grab lunch in 2 weeks?
Oh, yeah. No. Come on. No. Guys. Car salespeople don't do that. They're dealing with algorithms, my friend. They're dealing with, they have to be there at the dealership to follow up, as I put the comment, on the leads that they don't follow up on. You don't want to build a personal relationship here. And this was in 1984 what you did just.
It was 80.
It was 80.
the Dunkirk site because it is a proven fact that using a single point of contact is the way to customer satisfaction. Proven fact. And how did a single point of contact company capture the world's largest e-commerce company? That is the proven fact here. So please jump in on this because we have to make this work.
Hey, look, guys, sorry, go ahead. Let me make a point. There's 2 points I want to make. One, there is an article put out, and and I've shared it with some dealers about small town values. And small town values are successful. And when you look at a small town dealer, they have relationships with the customer. They know everybody in the town. That's just the way they conduct business. And I think dealers that have forgotten small town values are the reason why, they're struggling now. But the question I want to throw out is, we have beaten this horse so many times. I mean, this is beyond dead. The question I have for you is, if it's so logical to us, why isn't it logical to the mass body of dealers? And and further, who's the source of truth for them? Because it all makes sense to us. There are those that have adopted and have said, no, there's a better way. But the vast majority don't. Why is that? Who are they listening to, or who aren't they listening to? Because to me, that's the problem.
Well, I would have an answer.
20 group, maybe 20 groups should be rotating instead of the same 20 people sitting together. Northern dealers going to like Turks and Caicos and to all these really cool places, and they have 4 hours of meetings and 19 hours of socializing, which I agree for networking is important. Let's get some new ideas in there. They're listening to the wrong people.
Well, but I think it's all. But I think there's a bigger point here, though. There's a bigger point, which is everyone is looking for an easy answer, and it's not that easy. At the end of the day, and it's funny you bring up a small town. As I work with this dealership in a small town called Fort Capel, Saskatchewan. So they have a population in the town of about maybe 3,500, 4,000 people. So here's an example of how you could even execute in that town badly, but it was an interesting thing. So they were having a private sale, shockingly, in a small town. They sent out invitations and calls and emails and everything to their customer base in the town. They were the only car dealer that sold new cars in the town. And the owner got accosted at his local church because some of the people in the town didn't get invites. They were offended because he didn't invite them to the deal. So it was kind of interesting, but at the same time, it's really about, it's going to require more than just an easy answer. It's not like playing the lotto and winning $50 million or whatever that number is. It's about having a plan and executing it, but more importantly, pivoting and adapting it with technology, sure, but having a philosophy that you're gonna reach out to customers. I mean, however you want to do that. And you got to reach out to them often. I mean, what shocked me, I guess about 10 years ago, and I hadn't been in the car business for several years at the time, I was still getting calls from people that I'd sold cars to. And the reason is I was the only person who ever called them. And I sold them a vehicle, whereas when they had a problem, they'd call me. So at the end of the day, it's really about reaching out to customers on a consistent basis and standing out from the crowd. Technology is really just the way you do that. It doesn't replace the person or the people doing that. That's just my
opinion. Doug, it's, why aren't dealers risk in this? I think a lot of times we don't realize the lack of logic and the common sense that's right in front of dealer spaces, or else why would so many dealers place a much bigger emphasis on variable than fixed, which fixed not only is the steadier, but if you look at the fixed, you put the variable in battery.
Mm-hmm. That's because it's fixed and not variable. It goes right back to the thing is Ian said that we're looking for the easy thing. People aren't easy. It's the old story. Larry and, of course, Don, who's just joined us today. Thank you, Don. You guys understand this whole connection with people. And, how many times do dealers have one-on-ones with, here we go. The dealer has a one-on-one with a salesperson because somebody in 20 groups said, let's do it. But they don't have a one-on-one with a tech. They don't have a one-on-one with a service advisor. If they have one-on-ones at all, people are difficult.
Well, you could go off forever on leadership because we do leadership training in our company, and that is sorely lacking. But I am curious what John Latka has to say because he's been raising his hand for a while. Well, the first thing I want to say is if you'll notice, I have a new look. It's a Jeff Paul.
I hate to tell you this. It's been 15 years since I could grow that much. This look here ain't working too good.
All right, listen. So I wanted to jump in because I saw Peter's poll, And of course, I put people first. People, process, technology. Yeah, but you got to have people. And one of the interesting things is, I have to get this up again, is a dealer that I'm currently working with, an independent used car dealer. Of course, they don't have the advantage of getting money from manufacturers. But what
Or the indirect.
Yeah, they're free. One of the interesting things is that, what I promote when I work with dealers on an ongoing basis is the aspect of people. And I try and get them to focus as much on high gain opportunities as they focus on the low gain opportunities. And we know that internet leads don't close at a high ratio. But if you're setting appointments that show will close at 50 to 60%, we know that repeat customers will close at 60 to 70%, and referrals will close at 70 to 80%. So this particular dealership that I'm working with right now, ends up Monday morning, referrals, 30.8% of the business they have this month is referral business. 23.1% is repeat business. Just think, talk about relations versus transactions. Over 50% of their business so far this month, which is the highest it's been, in terms of referral and repeat business. It's out there, but you have to work toward it.
Exactly. And that's one of the things that I've been saying for such time, is that if you take a salesperson, you ask them to get one referral per year from each of their clients, exponential, just one in a year.
During the course of their ownership, if you just get one.
Yeah. If they turn around and get that one client, and they're the national average of 10 people per month, they will go from a 10-person per month salesperson, or 10 per month salesperson, to 45 per month organically in 4 years. Just following from that one stipulation. One client per year. That's all I ask for. And that's with the closing ratios, everything all factored in. So we're just not looking at the business in the way the business should be run. And we should be using the first party data. Tim and I will scream this every single time we get the opportunity. And we should be a single point of contact. That we should be a single price store. Stop the mentality or that insanity.
Yeah. Stop the insanity.
That we're not price competitive, because that's what you're telling people we need discount a car. You're not price.
It's very funny. And the reason that I came up with this topic today is we're seeing it. We're seeing dealers not knowing what to do. They went from, they can do anything they want. They went from, here's the price. That's the way it is. I know somebody that got walked on a Toyota. We talked about this couple things, BZ4X for the good people up here, because they wouldn't pay MSRP plus some weirdo fee on top of the normal fees. But they had a lot full in the back because the way they were doing it was that's the way we do it. Now the dealer's sitting there going, it's a Toyota store, and up here we have Toyota stores have wait and check. I'm not sure if they call them the States. It's wholesale inventory credits, and they're now using it for floor planning, and they're floor planning electric cars, which up until 4 months ago they didn't have to. They didn't have any. They were pre-sold. All those orders canceled. So he said, take my $150 deposit. I don't care. So the thing is we're doing the same mistakes we made in 1984, or are we? And we're not knowing what to do right now. And this is this is all this stuff we're talking about. And I can't remember who mentioned it. I had these discussions in 1984. Yes, I was doing this business in 84. I had the same discussions, only back then the technology was the beer fax machine.
Oh, no. Our computers were, in 1984, I was doing dealer trades with microfiche.
Yeah, I was doing dealer trades by, hey, Charlie, it's Jeff. How you doing, buddy? You got an RSPLCT2C with a 17 and a PR2? That's how I was doing them. But we still did it then. We still didn't care about people then. And, as I said in the poll, and John, you mentioned it, 2 Peter's poll, Peter Gate got back to me and said, WTF, what the hell are you talking about? It's people. He did. I'm joking. But the fact is, it's people. But now we're trying to hire, I saw a survey the other day, and it was Canada, I'm sure it's the States, that millennials now are the dominant generation. Yeah. But they're still in that thing that, you hire a millennial person, and they're saying, so what's your relationship? Can you work these programs? And how are you with this? How are you with that? Not can you talk on the phone? Can you talk face-to-face to somebody? And by the way, can you type or text in legible English?
John's laughing.
So I went reading it, John, it really is the truth. And we let it get away from us. We let it get away because technology brought in ease. And with ease becomes laziness.
Right.
And because laziness is there, it's hard to get back. How many of us have tried going to the gym and we get there and we go for 2 weeks solid, but because we don't hit that magic 21-day or 28-day amount, we quit.
Right.
Because you know what, I got something to do today. And then you say, I'll make it up tomorrow, and you never go.
That's why 24-hour fitness can charge you $9.99 a month, because they got 7 million members, of which under 1,000 show up.
Yeah.
It's the churn.
It is the churn. It's exactly that. I mean, and again, this is not unique to the auto industry. It's, and I'll use the obvious clown to punch right now, and that is Salesforce, right? In Silicon Valley, who has done everything they can to over-automate the marketing, created a whole new category of sales development representatives and business development representatives and market development representatives who were then managed by the technology to manage demand generation, right? And good account executives, really good salespeople, were relegated to sit at their desks or to sit and wait for something to just beep, right? Something to notify them.
Call this person.
That they got a lead, right? I mean, and is it ironic at all that Amazon and Google and Meta and Microsoft and Apple are all right now this year going to give us the wonderful gift of a personal AI assistant that everybody can have on their phone that answers any question you can ask it and just put us on automation overdrive? I mean, this is all by design, right? Got to the point you just made, Peter.
Yeah.
Everybody's been made nice and lazy, right?
Well,
nice and lazy, and now's the time to put AI on them and make it and take it all the way.
I just heard this. I read it yesterday. Mercedes-Benz new E450 incorporates AI into the platform of the car, to the point where it knows when you go to the drive-thru and will turn down the radio and lower your windows so you can order your coffee. It knows your exact route because it's following it.
It doesn't know your coffee order.
It doesn't have that 20 syllable coffee down. Is that what you're saying?
It's there. What I don't need that technology. I have a white tells me that I'm going in the wrong direction and what to wear.
Well, it's to be way too complicated for Larry's lunch order anyway. Way too complicated.
Having said that, it's absolutely imperative, and this is why I put out the post about career suicide. because I got tired of hearing what dealers want to hear. They want to hear things. They want to know that they're making the right decision, that they're hiring the right people because they think alike. There is no debate. There is no challenging. There is no discussion. We are all becoming minions, and we cannot be in that category anymore. And exactly, and some people can't handle the truth. I was going to put it that on one of my posts the other day too. The absolute reality of it is that we have to wake up and understand who operates our business. It's only one person. It's the customer. The customer operates our business. And without that customer and understanding what that customer actually wants, and having someone that can come in and actually have that conversation, we're going to be lost, and we're going to go rates that people are just going to go, what happened? And look at Kodak, look at Blockbuster, look at the fax machine. They were all ahead of their time in what they did, but they lost everything. Gone.
So that's what and that's exactly what Google is doing right now, right? This is GA4 is not meant for Google Analytics in the way that everybody has known it to be. It's not there to tell you about what's going on with your website. GA4 is there to pull everything from your website and to inform the knowledge graph with Gemini, which is the thing that people are already carrying on their phones with Google Assistant to ask questions, right? Instead of search results, you get answers. This is it. I mean, Google is going to basically kill the business that made them what they are sometime over the next 18 months is when it will finally dissipate and be meaningless for the most part. Think about what that means for websites. Think about what that means for all the automation that we were talking about earlier, because all of that was all built on the same kind of data, clicks. It was all built on clicks. Somebody's been looking. They did a built-in price, and then they give us their email address, right? I mean, that kind of thing is going to change drastically over the next 2 years.
Yeah, I tell you, the greatest transfers of wealth they should take place in the next 10 years. And I believe this is why I'm so involved, even though it's mind-boggling, that an opportunity is not an opportunity when everybody thinks it's an opportunity. They've already missed the opportunity.
Right.
Yeah. Folks, we're winding down in time. This is wow, we're getting deep here. I think I think we're going to have to find a way to continue these things. It's on the
Extra time.
show is going to be how do we regain customers' trust, and it's going to be a 2-part show over 2 weeks to keep it going, because many times these conversations just get going at the hour part. And of course, we all know car people, we have a very limited attention span. And, the reality is here that we have a lot of issues. And, we had issues in 1984. Now our issues are much deeper because, Tim, I love that look. I love the raised eyebrow, man, because it's very true that I saw an emoji, but yeah, it's very true because there's so much stuff going on. Hey, Google, like, holy cow, like stuff. As we said, we had to NADA. I didn't see a lot of people that I was waiting to see because there's so much going on there. I did see a car washer 15, but there's lots going on. We got a challenge, and I'll just go person by person and get final party thoughts. Tim, you're on the screen staring at me right now. So what's your parting thought as we move on?
Just the thing we've all said 100 times. I mean, pay attention to who's already bought from you. It's that simple. It's call folks up, ask them how they're doing, and look at what John said. He had some great evidence that he shared statistically, but think about referrals. Think about how you can ask somebody you sold a car to Is there anybody else I should be talking to about a new car or truck? I mean, how simple is that to do?
That's right off the, can't remember the trainer. It might be Jackie B. Cooper. A couple people go, oh yeah, which is, is there anybody, pardon me, Russell, you got the strongest accent that I can hear on the line here. So, but is there any of your friends, family, or members that you could, say good things to me about me to them, and perhaps I could sell them a car? And I think Jimmy got a bit of an accent too, but the fact is, which I don't, I'm Canadian. The fact is, we're not doing that. Thank you for your input, Tim. Thanks for being here. Peter.
Well, and like I said, I think 2024 is the year to wake up. And I think as we recognize that giant, massive profitability called COVID for the automobile industry, we're now into the hangover stage, and we have to find the solution to get rid of the headache. So start with your vendors. Your vendors are there to help you, and get there.
Yeah,
Hey, it's all about fundamentals. Blocking and tackling wins games. I mean, it's time for dealers to focus on fundamentals. And I guess, Peter, if I was to answer your survey, people or process, I would say process, because people have to be part of your process. And if people aren't part of the dealer's process, they've got a really fundamental problem.
Exactly. The dealer has to have a process. John.
I don't need it done.
John Letka.
Can you imagine me being on mute? So, and when dealer principals, GM, sales managers have asked me, what do you think we need? The majority of times, my answer is, you need CPR. What the hell is that? You mean this? I said, no. Communications, processes, and relationships.
Yep.
If you focus on those with people in mind, you're bound to do better than what you're currently doing.
That was actually Peter's question. Tech is communications. P is processes, and R is people, which is great. Thank you so much, John. And that look is awesome. By the way, I've got a couple of direct messages on LinkedIn here by a couple of girls from places that would like to meet you. And I don't know, just kidding. Howdy, Wendy, I
got to piggyback on what, who went first? Was it Tim?
It was Tim. Yeah.
Okay. It is about the people. It's about, and God bless you for all the data that we now have nowadays. But I think that we have to start instead of reporting the KPIs and whatever, and to provide more actionable solutions. And those have to do with our people. And instead of cutting our workforce because of AI, we have to find ways to repurpose those individuals so that they're doing more of the, hey, just wanted to reach out and wish you a happy birthday, tell you that we appreciate your loyal patronage here at the dealership, whatever. And just a simple outreach, human to human, to solidify the relationship and retain the customers that we do have, because it's those little things that, upon a reflection, are going to end up being the big thing that retain the customers.
Oh, thank you. My comment on that is very interesting, and my parting comment, or Jared already in, is, we need to build those relationships as human to human things, and frankly, in my typical terms, there's a reason why young people ask another person out on a date or break up with them via text, because it's quasi-anonymous. You're not face-to-face, and it's easy.
Yeah, a little bit of fear.
If we do this, reach out to a customer by text, guess what? It's very easy for a customer to say to you, not interested.
Yep. True.
So, and Doug, sorry I forgot you, because you popped up on the screen to remind me. Final comment.
I already commented.
My apologies, I'm at some other planet.
Yeah,
so anybody else before we go?
We have John, we have Russell, we have Bill Harvey. Larry didn't say anything, and Darren. So whoever wants coming.
Here, all I want to say is, and I know it was freaking huge, but I got to meet four of you for the first time at the Golden Racial Awards. So that was, thank you for
Shut up.
That was great.
Our pleasure.
Hey, listen, with some of these tech issues, every problem's always an opportunity. It's a cliche, but it's absolutely true.
Not really. You brought up another automotive cliche. For every solution, there's a problem.
John?
Great week, Paul.
John and Bill, any comments? Or Darren? You're all muted, just so you know. No comment. No comment. All right. Thanks very much. Have yourself a great week, and it was a great show. We'll see you next week. Happy 110th. Take care, guys. All right. Bye.
Hey, if you missed us live, you can listen to us wherever you get your podcast.